Death Stranding 2, the walking simulator. I know some of the game is ass. See, I thought it might be the first one, but I wasn't sure. And it was in my backlog, and I was like, I'll play it when I play it. It's a Kojima game, so whatever he put out, I'm going to play it, including OD whenever that comes out over on the Xbox side. Then my dog Trey, this is a couple years ago, was like, man, you gotta play this. So I was like, all right, I'll play it now. Boy, that game, I was on that crack. I completed all the achievements. You can check my Steam. It was outrageous, bro, what that game did to me. So I'm going to tell you why the game had me so immersed and why the second Death Stranding is one of my favorite games of 2025, as well as I knew it was going to be. I had a strong feeling it was going to be nominated for Game of the Year for multiple reasons. Let's talk about it. What's up, bitch?
Just like that, Sam. Did you just attack the Jones?
Man, shut your ass up. I don't know how we gonna do this. I'm gonna tell you right now, Death Stranding and Kojima Games is one of those forms of media where you have an idea of what's going on, you think you're following the story, but you feel like you want to make sure you have put everything together. So you end up watching a YouTube video to get the full story explained or the ending explained. So basically, I'm gonna try to be as clear and as short as I can when it comes to the story, spoiler free. Basically, we'll just take it from the first game. So Sam has the ability, he's called a repatriate, which it allows his soul to return to his body after he dies, which means he kind of can't die. So anytime he does go through the process of dying, it's really painful for him. Now, how he got that power, we don't need to get into that. You can play the game to find that out. But there's a lot of natural disasters happening in the world, and this game primarily focuses in the U.S. So there's all kinds of things showing up, and there's these invisible creatures called BTs. They're pulling humans into the afterlife, and they can't see them because they're invisible. And at the same time, rain is starting to age stuff. So right now when it rains, you just get wet. But during this game, when rain touches anything, people, buildings, anything, it ages it rapidly. You stand in that rain too long, you will turn into a 90-year-old man, and you will eventually die. God knows, Lord knows how long that takes. It doesn't take very long at all. You can see things and people, buildings collapse and decompose instantly. Cars turn into rust just from a few drops of rain. You can see human skin get destroyed, all kinds of stuff. So that's all the stuff that happens. Basically, it's going to be the end of humanity, and the just life as everybody knows it. And like I said, when you're dealing with invisible creatures that pull people into the afterlife, you can't see in the rain, like there's not really much that you could do. So this is post-apocalyptic. He's trying to rebuild the world. So there are those little babies that you see that they're attached to their chest in that little pod. Those actually they still have a connection to the afterlife. So those people can actually use those babies to dictate and find out where those invisible BTs are, which makes it easy. So the whole idea is that he is rebuilding America, which is where the packages come from. All those packages are very important things that you need to get to connect and reconnect the whole world and the country and all these states together. So it's weapons, it's technology, it's all kinds of shit. That's why he's doing this. So that's basically the short of it. The second game takes place and it continues on from the first game. He's still living in isolation, and without getting into too much spoilers, the game just basically, there's never really the peace that you're looking for, so the game continues on from there. Now, one of the things I do have to say outright is while you're moving all these packages, if you look at gameplay of people who think the game sucks and they don't want you to see what the game has to offer, it is literally going to look like you're just walking around everywhere. They're not going to show you the fact that there's boss fights, that there's enemies that you can fight, that you can fight BTs, that you can build highways, you can build all kinds of structures. Everything on your person, you build all your weapons, your bikes, your trucks, everything. And that is very much a part of the process. So the story, which we're going to get to, is very well done, especially on the second game. I do want to say this outright before we get over to the next section, that this is another example, just like Ghost of Yote, of a game that takes a lot of people's criticisms from the first game and quality of life suggestions, and they add it to make it better than the first game. This is better than the first game, 100%. So let's get into why. To really get a good appreciation of the graphics on here, you're going to have to look at a graphics comparison video or a graphics breakdown video. The game looks gorgeous. When you first boot it up, that first sequence when you're out in the mountains, you're going to feel like you finally are playing a game that looks next gen as far as the visuals go. Yo, this shit, like, graphically, it might be because we just got off of mine's buttons, mine's ass, mine's this. Yo, this is gorgeous, bro. They have all these like dynamic lighting and all that, the rain and all that kind of stuff, and they have proper physics for stepping into mud and different surfaces and stuff like that. They have all these like mossy surfaces and stuff that also look really good. And the different weather elements look great. Cutscene wise, the mocap looks really, really solid. It's an improvement over the first game. And the first game, keep in mind, looks great. This is not leaps and bounds in front of the first game because the first game is in a class of its own in terms of being a last gen game, but this does improve on all those things on here. We always have to talk about sound. I know we're in the graphics section, but I usually tie the sound in with that. Sound is great. The soundtrack is good. You always have to have good audio in the game to keep people immersed, and it does just that. The rain sounds and everything like that really work and make everything just feel like, just to keep you really in the moment when you're playing a game. I don't really have too many criticisms as far as the graphics and performance. I didn't really have any issues for the most part. But, I get glitches on every game, so that don't really mean shit. All right, there's kind of a lot to unpack on this. So once again, this is basically an improvement on the gameplay side over the first game to me in every way. I just love when, because really that's all we require from sequels on the gameplay side is you take the last game and you improve on that, and then you add new stuff, which is what they did. So on here, we do have the option of using this ship to transport us from one section to the next. They have a much better fast travel system on this game. Gameplay wise, it is similar, but it is better. You have way more things that you can build. There's all kind of stuff, dude. There's a coffin that you can ride as like a hoverboard, and it's so fast. It is by far the fastest way to get around the map. It does come later in the game, though. This coffin might be my favorite thing in the game. I ain't gonna lie. I do want to tell you that, but you have that. You have your trucks. You have your your bike. Now the truck is going to be your lifeblood on this game if you're trying to transport multiple orders and large amounts of cargo. I highly suggest when you get, as early as possible, you get one of those trucks until you can craft your own, because you can use that to basically beat the game, to be honest. Now, once you have to scale up the mountains, the snowy, icy mountains, you're going to need upgrades for that, and you're going to maybe need the coffin and things like that to get you there faster. But that truck is going to get you a long way. You're going to spend a lot of time in that truck. Also, they have They have zip lines again. They have ramps. They have cannons that you can get into, and it'll shoot you in the air. There's ramps you can ride up over your truck with, and not take fall damage with any of the stuff once you land. There's all kinds of ways for you to get around the map. You can still shoot you can put your packages in the cannon. There's just so many different ways you can get your stuff. One of the bigger things that, if you have never played Death Stranding, that I really love about what they did is the community kind of works together. And what that means is stuff that is in other people's games that they've constructed, be it a generator to recharge your batteries, be it a watchtower to be able to look and survey the area, roads, all these things, the community works together. So as you come across other people's structures and you can use them. You might have built a road and you'll find that other people have contributed materials to your road. So everything that everybody does kind of works together. Now, some people are hardcore. They might want to turn that shit off. You might not want help from anybody in the community, and that's fine. You can make the game a little more challenging if you want to do that. I prefer not to do that because it makes the game 10 times easier if I'm able to just play it. Because I'm telling you, I have 130 hours on this game, and I have not platinumed the game yet. I beat the game a couple months ago, but I was really trying to revisit so I could finish to get the platinum because there's still a lot of stuff I need to do to actually get that. So there's plenty of things that you could do. And I did all that with all these community structures up. So you can actually befriend people, and you'll see more of their structures in the game. So when we talk about moving packages and orders and all that kind of stuff, there's tons of ways you could do it. But it's also could be a little bit of a challenge. You know what I mean? You're dealing with issues of capacity and weight. So there's only but so much stuff you can carry. Then you have to deal with the terrain itself. So you may be going up a hill. You may not go up the right angle. It may be too steep. You may slide all the way down the hill. Your packages fall off. You roll all over. Now your shit is fucked up. So they have the normal deliveries to be able to get stuff from one place to another. And as you deliver these things, they're all under a grade system. You get there, you get stuff delivered with no damage. You get an S, triple S, whatever, depending on the difficulty you're playing on. You get a package, you let it get timefall rain on it, which we discussed earlier. It can destroy the package. You be reloading your saves and shit. And it's not a walk in the park. When you're trying to deliver stuff, you run into BTs, you run into raiders, all type of threats out there on top of the actual terrain itself. Because in the beginning of the game, you're not going to have any of these roads and stuff to help you. You have to build all this shit. It's fine. Well, that's a big one. Man, oh man. And that is what gets you cracked out on the game. Is the upgrading and building of structures and mines and every time you deliver packages, you deliver enough to a specific facility, they give you guns and weapons and equipment. I couldn't even tell you how much equipment is in this game. Some of the stuff you may never even use, but you have bridges to help you get across water. You have, like I said, you have generators. You have all this stuff. You would really have to watch a whole video to learn about all the things that you're able to do that you cannot do. So there is some stealth on here. And the stealth is solid. It's good. It's really good in my opinion. And I'm more so talking about the AI. What I really appreciate in the game, we all play games. I'm in the mountains. I have a suppressed sniper on here. The sniper does have some bullet drop, so you do have to account for some of the bullet drop, which is good. If you want to get your headshots and stuff, you do need to pay attention to that. But so I'm taking down a outpost, right? You're gonna be doing that a lot. Taking out an outpost, you snipe a guy, boom, he drops. Or if you shoot a guy but you don't get the one hit to knock him out, they're not just gonna stand there and look. They will run behind cover and hide, and then try to locate you before they do anything. That is what the kind of stuff that I appreciate, because some games the enemies just kind of stand there and just let you snipe them. They don't really do that on there. If you hit one of those guys with a sniper bullet and it doesn't knock them out immediately, they're going to take cover, try to locate you, and they have pretty good vision. It's actually disturbing a little bit. I played on very hard difficulty, so I'm not sure how it is on lower, but they do kind of come at you. Uh, uh, uh. As far as the different weapon types, dude, you have grenade launchers, like 4 levels of that. You have ARs, you have grenade pistols. You can fucking dude. There's this pizza man that you do orders for. He knows like kung fu, and he teaches you how to do it with pizza. They have fun stuff on the game that you can use as weapons, where you spinning pizza dough in your hand and you can knock people out with it. And you know if unless you play the game, you don't know all the stuff is in the game. They have all kinds of stuff, but you know one thing to look out for is your structures will wear out over time because the rain is going to hit it and it's going to start destroying them. So you might want to make sure you upgrade that. Getting materials can be a little bit of a pain, but once you unlock the mines and things like that, it will help you. In terms of enemy types, there are several different types. They range from like mechanical BTs to regular BTs to they even have like the super BT, which is the BT is like the otherworldly like big zombie demonic creature. You have to fight those and they're not necessarily easy. But what I would tell y'all, what I love about this game, bro, is at some point they will give you basically like a Pokemon ball. And you can throw it and catch BTs. And you can call them out to help you fight the other ones when you fight other ones. Like when you run into some of the other ones. And they will allow you to catch the big boss BTs. I'm talking 80 feet tall creatures. You can catch these people and then recall them to help you fight the other ones you run into. It's amazing. It's super fun. Hey! Got him. So with these, I may have said this before. Once you catch a BT, you can only use them once per fight, but you can use as many as you have. If you have 3, you could use one. You could use each of the 3 one time. They don't disappear or anything. You can reuse them when you get into fights with other people. But I will tell you, like, the game can be frustrating. You could be hauling some major, huge size cargo, and it can just get destroyed. So I'm gonna implore you guys to save your game often, because there's a problem. Now, in terms of boss fights, the boss fights, if you have that Pokeball, are very helpful. And I'm gonna show you one of the boss fights just so you have some gameplay to look at while I'm talking about this. They can be a little bit challenging early on if you're playing on harder difficulty. So you know the shotguns and all that kind of stuff, the rockets, you're gonna need all that. But once again, you do have a weight limit to put on yourself. One of the things I appreciate that they added to the game is that you can take your whole backpack off, sit it down. You can carry weapons with you, and then come back and pick it up so that your stuff doesn't get destroyed. You can build shelters to put your stuff under so it gets protected. But when you're early in the game and you're running into like all these BTs, it really is kind of scary. I'll say this game does encourage you to fight BTs and stuff like that a lot more. They want you to be way more aggressive than the first game. The first game, you spend a little bit more time trying to get around those guys. This game, they want you to fight. Also, the terrain does have more threats now. There's floods and things like that, earthquakes. But I will tell you, they make it seem like the earthquakes and stuff will be a way bigger part of the game than it actually is. They really aren't that much of a problem, but they can be slightly problematic, but it's really not that big of a deal. Plus, you know it's coming. I would think that if there is another game, that they'll do more with that to make more kind of disasters and stuff like that that's out of your control happen and make it a little bit more difficult. But there's so many facilities. If you're a guy that just likes the story, you can haul a shit ton of that stuff on your ship and then just deliver it. You're going to get like an M grade, but you may not care. You might be there just to play the story and do a lot of those fights. You know, the kind of like getting through the BT areas is kind of like it could be a little bit get you a little anxious. There are also gold BTs that drop a ton of Kyro crystals and things like that for you to use. Other than that, man, like it's pretty straightforward. There's so many different upgrades, so many different weapons. It's like I really appreciate a game where it just seems like the upgrades never end. This is one of those games. I'm telling you, dude, you have no idea. Like they just keep giving you shit. You may not even use it, but you just keep getting stuff constantly. Also, it's always nice where you can customize your character, change the color of your truck or your clothes or any of that cool stuff. Um, in terms of weapons, you get a cool guitar weapon later that you can use. You have robotic dogs you can throw to help you. You have flying drones that can help you. You have your basic sniper, your basic shotgun, your basic AR, pistols, hand grenades. You have, I mean, dude, it's so much shit. You could even like that coffin I mentioned earlier. You can get into the coffin, go underground, get up behind enemies, and stealth do stuff with them, stealth knock them out, all type of shit. So, all in all, I mean, there's a lot more I can say about the gameplay, but I'm just trying to give you kind of the more exciting parts of it. But stealth is a big part of the game, but it's not as much of a part of the game as it was the first time. You really could kind of go in there with guns. But do keep an eye on your materials because every single facility has their own set of materials. You may have more materials with these people than you do over here. You might need to craft stuff to take on your journey, but you don't have enough, so you'll run into that. Yeah, overall, I love that the community helps. They may have, you might need to get across water. They might have a ladder for you to get across water. You might need to climb down off of a mountain. There may be a rope that somebody put there already for you if you can't put it yourself. You'll find it. You don't have to carry as many PCCs this time as you did the first time. You can probably get away with not carrying any. I would keep one on your person at all times. There's these little insects that you can like eat or collect or whatever. They have different like perks and stuff. One of them gives you refills your health. Another one gives you more battery if you run out. But there's one that's gonna be really helpful for you for boss fights, and especially for capturing BTs. There's one that slows down time briefly, and it makes everything in slow motion. It allows you to aim better, to hit weak spots on enemies, and to also be able to throw your little BT Pokeball into the opening of whatever you're trying to capture. That actually helps tremendously. So make sure you do that. Also, like I said, I picked it up early, but I really want to stress this to you if you're going to play the game for the first time. Get you a truck early. Go to one of those mule camps and keep that truck as long as you can. Eventually, the rain is going to destroy it, but hopefully by the time that happens, you'll be able to craft trucks on your own. The mines. Use the mines because it can help you convert Kyro crystals into materials you need to rebuild your roads and stuff like that. Also, there's a guy. I cannot remember his name. You're going to have to look this up, but he's going to offer you he's going to give you a suppressed sniper rifle that is lightweight for completing orders for him. Get that. I think you have to get 5 stars for him, but it appears that is the only guy in the game that you have to get 5 stars for to get the weapon. I'm going to tell you guys right now, this is big. If you're not going for platinums or all the achievements or whatever, get 4 stars with the facilities and then stop. You do not need to get 5 stars. That 5th star for everybody only gives you a patch that you can wear, except for the guy I'm talking about who gives you a sniper. Do not go for 5 stars unless you feel you absolutely have to because you're going for achievements, because you will be disappointed. All you get is cosmetic patches for getting 5 stars for like 95% of those facilities. So also look up the facilities that you need to do and see what rewards you're going to get. In terms of the BTs, I learned kind of late that it's kind of beneficial, bro, honestly, for me to just like let them take me and then fight the big boss. Because if you get caught by BTs and they pull you in, they all combine together and give you like a little mini boss fight. Those are the things that you can capture. I'd rather deal with that than kind of sneak by everybody all the time because it's a little bit annoying. Make sure y'all pick up all the Kyro crystals you can. I'm telling you, you're going to need those. And definitely use that that coffin I was talking about, the hoverboard. Shit is that, bro. Chef's kiss. It is chef's kiss. I'm telling y'all, boy, that shit's so good. A couple other things that you can do if you want to kind of see where you are with each facilities. If you push start, you go to like social strand services. You can scroll down, and then you'll be able to see how far along you are with each facility. Oh, this is huge. This is huge. This is probably the last thing. Lost cargo is going to be a big way for you to upgrade your relationships with those facilities to give you more stars. Just pick it up along the way. This is why I'm telling you to keep a truck handy. If you have a truck with you, you can just keep picking shit up. Get that truck and pick up lost cargo. If you don't have 4 stars with a facility and you see the lost cargo, pick it up. And then as you're driving around and just making your rounds, just drop it off. Because what I like to do is I like to load up my truck with stuff, complete multiple orders at a time, kind of have like a little network where I just kind of drive around, drop stuff off. And then you can also pick up lost cargo that you see on the ground. But when you get to a facility, go to share cargo with other porters, and other people's lost cargo is in there. You can take it out of there, out of the facility, and put it in the back of your truck. You can do that also. I'll say this too. And when we get to the likes, there's going to be more quality of life talk than anything on there. But what is annoying about the truck, the mule truck early that you're going to have, is if you see lost cargo on the ground, you're going to have to get out of your truck to pick it up. Eventually, you'll get some gloves that allow you to pick up stuff while you're still driving in that truck. If you have the bike, he has an animation where you don't have to get off the bike to pick up lost cargo, but you can't carry as much. The truck allows you to carry like 600 or 700 pounds worth of shit, or kilograms, whatever. I forgot what metric they're using. Okay, the bike doesn't have that much, so the bike's faster, but you get to carry less stuff. The truck's slower, but you get to carry more stuff. You also have to get out of the truck early, but get those gloves. I think they're like climbing gloves. It'll let you pick up stuff while you're still in there. You can pick up Carol crystals and that. And I'll get to some of the other stuff that the game has added to make your time easier as well. But I think that's probably it. The way you play the game is going to dictate Sam's upgrades for combat and stealth. Use snipers a lot. You'll level up your sniper. You do stealth a lot. You'll be able to upgrade your stealth. It happens naturally. You don't have to do anything. Also, when you're sneaking around, your crouch, cover your mouth, so he can hold his breath. Because if they hear you, they'll turn around. You've been warned. Also, you'll unlock this guy. He's like a little doll. You can throw him in the air, and he can mark targets for you. You can do that if you don't have watchtowers. Dude, there's so much shit in this game. I think we're going to end this section because I could be here for 30 minutes. We're going to go to the next one. But that's just a few of the things on the... Okay, so my likes are really just going to be centered around the improvements, the quality of life improvements from the first game. So one of the things that I need to mention is you're able to get weapons and attachments and things like that to your truck that I mentioned earlier. That's going to be your lifeblood. One of the things you get is a sticky cannon. You can put 2 sticky cannons on there. They will automatically pick up cargo for you. As you're driving around, when there's lost cargo on the ground, the sticky cannon will turn to the cargo and then grapple it and put it in your truck for you. You don't even have to move. So you, between that and the climbing gloves, you'll never have to get out of your truck to get cargo. The downside to that is you'll pick up cargo from facilities that you don't want because it's automatic. You don't get to control whether or not the cannons pick it up, but they do pick it up, which is helpful. Like I said, being able to take off your pack and then retrieve it so that you can fight without it. That way, because sometimes you run into enemies and bosses and you're carrying cargo that you need to deliver. It's going to get absolutely destroyed if you end up in a fight, so you can take it off. The watchtowers I mentioned earlier. You don't have to actually walk up to a lot of the watchtowers. You can remote connect into the watchtowers to survey the area. So I mentioned that you could throw the puppet guy in the air. He basically does the same thing as a watchtower, but he doesn't have the radius and the vision that the watchtower has. But you're able to remote into it if you're like 100 meters away or 200 meters, within 200 meters or something like that. They have crouch running, which is much faster to help you clear out camp so you don't have to walk really slow when you're crouching. Oh, how could I forget? sorry. The monorail. They have a monorail in the game. You have to build it though. There's 4 of them. The monorail, you can actually put large amounts of cargo on and you can send it. And if the destination is along the trail where that monorail is going, it can take it there for you and drop it off for you, and then you can deposit it once you get there. Because sometimes they want you to carry a huge amount, put it on the monorail, tell it to go ahead. You can even ride the monorail. You can put your truck on there that you were driving, and you can ride the monorail too with all the stuff that you put on there to get yourself places. So that's also cool as well.
Is that all you're gonna take?
Yes. Everything I need is already stowed on the DHV Magellan. This here is my insurance. Well then, shall we go to the DHV Magellan?
You actually physically have to ride the monorail and wait. So if it's a 7-minute drop off, you have to wait 7 minutes. You'll sit there and you'll see him riding the thing. You have to wait the whole 7 minutes. I'm not necessarily a fan of that. I mean, you could go and do something else in your house, but like I'd rather be able to just kind of fast travel and go on about my day. But the game will force you, if you're riding the monorail to the next destination, to sit through that. Number 2, some of these facilities can eat a dick. I ain't gonna lie to you. Getting 5 stars in some of these facilities is a complete drag. You'll have 4 stars, and then after that, that 5th star takes forever, and you feel like you're never gonna fill up that 5th star. It's a pain in the ass. And to do all of that just to get a patch, I'm not a fan. Trophy hunters, achievement hunters. I want to stress this to you. You have to get 5 stars on every facility. I wish they would have made it 4 stars. I think 4 stars is way more reasonable because there's a little bit of work that goes into getting 4 stars. But getting 5 stars, I'm telling you, it's a pain in the ass. It seems like the 5th star is the combination of the amount of all the other 4 first stars, the first 4 stars to get to the 5th star. I don't like it. It takes entirely too much. I wish there was also a way to swap weapons easier. So if you're in the middle of a battle of some kind, you have maybe 2 weapons that you can swap to, or 3 or something like that. I mean, it's not a big deal. You do have to bring up the weapon wheel, or at least I did. There may be a way to do it faster that I don't know about, because this game has a lot of shit. Okay, a lot of stuff. For the most part, I don't really have a whole lot of dislikes. I did mention the fact that I wish the earthquakes and all the rest of the natural stuff that the game makes it seem like you're going to deal with was more of a factor, floods and everything, because they're not really that much of a factor.
Okay, hold my hand.
All right, final verdict. So I told you this is one of my favorite. This is one of my best objective best games, subjective best games. It's one of my favorite games of the year. I had a ball playing this. Maybe too many hours, but should you buy the game? It's hard to say. Did you like the first game? This is better than the first game. People might like the storytelling in the first game more though. But that plot twist and all that, which I didn't even talk about on this second game, is phenomenal. If you want to see great voice acting performances, amazing on here. I don't know how much Death Stranding is right now. Let's check the let's see how much it is right now before I lie to you guys. So it looks like, is it on discount? Looks like you can get it for $50. I think it's definitely worth 50. I do think it's worth 70, but it really depends. Like, this is hard for me to tell people whether or not they should get it. And you'll notice a pattern. Anytime there's a sequel to a game, I always tell you, if you have not played the first one, to play the first one before you play the second one. First one you can play a lot cheaper. And typically sequels, the core of the game is going to be what it's going to be. So if you don't like it, you may not like it. But this is one of those games where I think there's a possibility that you might not like the first one and you might like this one weirdly. Because it's easier to play in very many ways. And I really appreciate how they told the story this time around. It's also a little bit easier to follow this time around. there's definitely some weird stuff, you know, with the story that you gotta be like, what the hell's going on? Overall, for me, one of the best games of the year. But I would completely understand people who are not interested in a game like this. I don't think it's the walking simulator that some people think it is, but I do understand how some people can see that based off of some of the gameplay. It's one of those games where I don't think you can get the full understanding of how the game is by watching YouTube videos. There's lots of games like that. You can watch them, you be like, this don't look that funny. You play them and it is. But overall, I like it, but it's kind of up to you. At $50 and you liking the first game, I say yes. But if you don't really want to do a game where you're like where there's lots of delivering and all that kind of stuff, if you really are opposed to like fetch quests, this is the ultimate fetch quest game. Don't I would tell you not to. Overall, Death Stranding is one of them ones for me, but it might not be for you. That's it though. I don't know what else to say. I'm hungry. My voice hurts because I just did 3 reviews in a row. All right, bye.